Good morning, students. This is Dr.Muayyad from the Department of English. In this video, we're going to discuss manner of articulation. What is the meaning of manner of articulation? This is how we articulate or make sounds, and this is important when it comes to understanding how to make appropriate sounds in English. If you don't know how to make the sound, then you will never be able to make the sound, especially as a second language learner. We often make the sounds naturally when we are children. We don't need to understand how to make them. However, as a foreign language learner, we are in need to understand how the sound is made so that we can make it correctly and be understood. And this is the most important thing, is that you need to others to understand you. Let us talk about the manner of articulation. Manner of articulation, we have 6 different ways that we can articulate sounds. In the previous lecture, we talked about the place of articulation, that is, the places where the articulation is made. So we can combine the places with these manners and can make all of these different consonant sounds. The first group of sounds are called stops or plosives. They are produced in 3 steps. Number 1, building pressure of air in any place of the vocal tract. Then collecting an air in your mouth. After that, releasing the air. And of course, when we think of this, we think of a sudden burst of air. The plosives or stops are like the following. We have p, b, t, d, k, g. All of these sounds collect air in your mouth or somewhere behind the tongue and suddenly releasing it with an explosion. It comes with a puff out of the sound. So say them and feel the air, collect your air and then release them. So you're holding your breath, stopping your breath, and then let your breath go out. Then you can feel there's a kind of explosion. We have some words in which these sounds are produced, like for example in the initial sounds, p in big, b in bag, t in tall, d in dad, k in kick, g in girl. So what we feel in producing these sounds, there's a kind of burst of air that comes out of the mouth. The second manner of articulation is fricatives. This is when we force the air to come through the mouth, but we stop part of the area so the air cannot go everywhere. It is stopped in certain places. We somehow take our vocal tract, or we take our tongue, or in some way we stop the air from moving through on all parts of the mouth. But it is not a sudden burst of air like in the stops or plosives. No, it is not like the stops. There is a constant stream of air. It is just that we are stopping it so it can't move through our whole mouth. Come to the fricative sounds, and these sounds are pairs like z, sh, j, and ha. So with all of these sounds, there's a constant stream of air. There isn't stopping. The air keeps moving. The mouth is moving to manipulate or control the air so that the speaker can decide where it comes past the tongue. For example, in the production of sound, the air goes through the front part of the mouth where the teeth meets the lip. So the air does not go to the sides of the mouth, but it is only through the front part. We stop part of the air, so it cannot come through everywhere. It is a stream of air. An example is that imagine there is a river of water flowing. Then imagine putting a large rock in the center of the river. The flow of the water would change because of the large rock, but the water would still flow around it. This is a strong description of what a fricative sound is formed. There is a flowing river over, and you partially block it with your tongue teeth. Now we move to the third manner of articulation, which is the affricates. The affricates, we combine stops and fricatives to form affricates. So we have three steps. The first step is building a pressure of air in any place of the vocal tract. B, collecting air in your mouth. And C, gradual release of air, not like stops which have a burst of air with an explosion. There is a kind of sudden release of air. Examples of affricates, we have ch and j. Affricates start with a stop and then transitions into a fricative. So affricates are a combination of two sounds. For example, the sound j is a very quick pronunciation of d and j. D plus j, we have j, while ch sound is a very quick pronunciation of t followed by sh. To demonstrate this, say the phrase what should, very fast, and you will get the sound ch. What should, what should, what should, what should, watch, watch. Then you have get ch sound. You will get the same thing when you have to do with d followed by j with the phrase what did you, what did you. Pronounce this phrase very fast. You will get d and yeah. For example, what did yeah, what did yeah. Then going faster, you will get d plus j. What did yeah, what did yeah, what did yeah, what did yeah. Then you end with j sound, waja, waja. So we have a stop sound with a fricative. Some words we have that contain these two sounds. Initial sounds ch, like chip, and we have the j sound with just. Final sounds with ch, we have catch, and then we have the j sound in badge. Now we have the fourth type of manner of articulation, which is nasal. Nasal refers to the sounds which are produced when there is a complete closure of oral cavity. The oral cavity is closed by the velum, and the air goes through the nose or the nasal cavity. We have three sounds, that is ing. We move from the front with the then the center of the vocal tract, and then the back of the vocal tract with ing. Initial sounds we have, for example, in like moon, with in like nap, and then ing. This sound does not occur at the beginning of words in English. We have at the end of the words like coming, ing. Now we come to the fifth type of the ways in which sounds are articulated, that is lateral or liquid. There are two types of them. We have oo and r. The tip of the tongue is placed on the alveolar ridge, and the air escapes through the mouth laterally along both sides of the tongue. So the air goes through the sides of the tongue rather than the central part of the tongue. Words like, for example, red with the r sound, and all sound comes in light. If you take the inside and producing this sound, oh, oh, and then puff the air outside, you feel that there is a coldness to the sides of the tongue. Oh, oh, you see that in the sides of the tongue there is a cold air comes outside. To the sixth type, which is the glide or semi-vowel or approximants. And this we move our mouth constantly from an articulation to a vowel sound. Sound glides from one position to the other without any friction. There is an approximation of articulation without any closure of the passage. We have two sounds, w and y. The w sound occurs in words like when the tongue is in the middle of the mouth when there is no friction, and the y sound is in the word yellow. The tongue is not touching the alveolar ridge. The w sound does not occur at the end of a word in English, and y sound does not usually occur also at the end of a word. Thank you very much.